Listen to me. Your mind is not your friend. It is a chaotic, noisy room, screaming with past regrets and future anxieties, and it is sabotaging your decisions, your confidence, and your peace. Right now, this very second, this noise is the source of your hesitation, your need for approval, and your deepest insecurities. But there is a way to shut it down. This book is not about meditation. This is not about spirituality. This is about the discipline of silence. It is the ultimate weapon for mental control. It is the foundation of unshakable power. For the next hour, you will learn how to weaponize quiet. You will learn to master your inner world. Pay attention. This changes everything. Listen to the space between my words. That quiet, that's the enemy. Not the silence itself, but what you rush to fill it with. Your brain, right now, is a radio dial spinning static. The replay of that stupid thing you said yesterday. The rehearsal for a difficult conversation you might never have. The anxiety about a deadline, a bill, a look someone gave you. It's a low-grade, constant hum of mental panic. This isn't background noise. This is the static that is robbing you of your life, one crucial moment at a time. I'm not talking about meditation or finding your zen. I'm talking about declaring war on the weakness in your own skull. This is Chapter 1. Stop the internal noise. Start the internal order. Let's get one thing straight right now. This internal noise isn't a condition you have. It's a choice you're making. You are choosing to let the circus play in your head. You are the ringmaster, and you've handed the microphone to your fears, your doubts, and your past regrets. They're running the show, and the show is a tragedy. You need to understand what this is costing you. In real, tangible terms. Because you think it's harmless, this mental chatter. It's not. You're in a meeting, and your boss asks for your input on the spot. But you weren't listening to the discussion. You were too busy in your head, rehearsing how you'd sound smart, crafting the perfect sentence. So you fumble. You stammer. You miss the moment. The promotion goes to the guy who was present, who was quiet inside, and therefore sharp outside. That's the cost. You come home after a long day, the noise in your head a screaming match of frustrations and to-do lists. Your kid runs up to you, wanting to show you a drawing, and you snap. Not because the drawing isn't wonderful, but because your internal frustration has boiled over. You just handed your family the fallout from a battle you lost in your own mind. Noise in creates noise out. Remember that phrase. It's a law of nature. Noise in always creates noise out. Your mind should be a command center. A quiet, powerful room where a single operator watches the screens, makes the calm, calculated decisions. Instead, it's a sports bar with 12 televisions all on different loud channels. You can't hear yourself think because you're not in charge of the remote. That ends now. Silence is not passive. It is not the absence of sound. It is the presence of control. Silence is an active, forceful, violent decision to take back the remote and shut the hell up. It is the discipline of choosing the signal over the static. The world will give you endless static. Your job is to find the signal. Your mission is to choose the signal. Your entire life depends on your ability to choose the signal over the static. So how do you do it? You don't wish for it. You don't hope for a quiet mind. You command it. You enforce it. You start with a single brutal rule. I will not rehearse conversations that haven't happened. I will not rehash conversations that are already over. The past is a canceled check. The future is a promissory note. The present is the only cash you have. Stop spending your cash on things you can't change and things you can't control. When you find yourself spinning on that loop, what I should have said, what I'm going to say, you stop. You physically stop what you're doing. You plant your feet on the ground. You feel the floor. You take one deep, sharp breath in, and you say out loud if you have to, I choose the signal over the static. This is your mantra. This is your weapon. I choose the signal over the static. The signal is the truth of this moment. Right now, the feel of your chair, the sound of my voice, the task directly in front of your hands. The static is everything else. The worry, the fantasy, the fear. You have a choice. You always have a choice. To listen to the circus, or to be the ringmaster who clears the tent. This is your first discipline. The discipline of internal order. It's not complicated. It's the hardest thing you'll ever do because it requires you to fight yourself. But you must. Every time the noise starts, you shut it down. You don't negotiate with the terrorists in your mind. You don't reason with them. You evict them. You have a choice. To be a reactor, buffeted by every internal gust of wind, or to be an actor, a man of deliberate, quiet action. The quiet mind isn't empty. It is powerfully, dangerously still. It is a loaded weapon, aimed at the right target. A noisy mind fires at everything and hits nothing. So your instruction is this. For the next 24 hours, your only job is to hunt the static. Catch yourself rehearsing? Stop. I choose the signal. Catch yourself rehashing?
Stop. I choose the signal. Feel the anxiety rising?
Plant your feet. Breathe. I choose the signal. This is not mindfulness. This is combat training for the real world. You are training your mind to obey. You have a choice. You've always had a choice. You just gave your power away to the noise. It's time to take it back. The quality of your life, your success, your relationships, it all depends on the quality of the environment inside your head. Noise in creates noise out. So what are you going to let in? You've started to master the noise within. But there's another battlefield, an external one, where most men lose their power every single day. It's time to reclaim your voice. You feel that itch, don't you? That tightness in your chest when you make a decision you know is right for you. But you can already feel the questions coming. The raised eyebrows, the silent judgment. And before anyone has even said a word, you're preparing your defense. You're building your case. You're rehearsing your lines. Stop right now. This chapter is your intervention. We are going to surgically remove one of the most insidious, power-leaking habits you possess. The need to explain yourself. Let's be brutally clear. Your constant explaining? Your long-winded justifications for why you left early, why you said no, why you're eating that, not doing that, pursuing that. It's not communication. It's not politeness. It's a covert plea for external validation. It's you handing your power over to your audience and begging them to approve of your choices. And every time you do it, you bleed a little more authority. You shrink. This is the non-negotiable law you must brand into your mind. Explanation is justification, and justification is weakness. Read that again. Explanation is justification, and justification is weakness. When you give a long, detailed reason for a simple decision, what you're really saying is, I am not confident that my own judgment is valid. I need you to sign off on this. I need your permission to exist as I am. You are framing your actions as a case that needs to be argued, rather than a reality that simply is. You are on the defensive, and the person you're talking to immediately becomes the judge. You have made them your superior. You have a choice. You can stand firm in your decision, or you can hand them the gavel and become a supplicant in your own life. That's the key. Your power lies in the unspoken. Your authority is built on the foundation of your own certainty. Think of the most commanding leader you've ever seen, read about, or worked for. The one whose simple yes or no carried immense weight. Do they call a town hall meeting every time they make a strategic shift? Do they gather the team to explain, in painstaking detail, the 15 reasons behind a new policy? No, they give a directive. It is clear. It is concise. It is final. Their authority doesn't come from their reasoning. It comes from their comfort with the unspoken. They own the space between the decision and the reason. That silence is where respect is born. The same applies to your personal life. You decide you're not drinking anymore. The offer comes. You say, no, thank you. That's it. The pressure comes. Oh, come on, just one. Why not? The weak version of you launches into a story about health, about a cleanse, about a promise you made to yourself. You justify. You leak power, the powerful version of you. You smile. You hold the gaze. You say, I'm good, thank you. Or simply, no. You don't explain. You don't justify. You state your reality. The discomfort they feel with your simple no is their problem to manage, not yours to solve with a paragraph of excuses. You don't need their permission. This isn't about being a rude, uncommunicative brick wall. This is about understanding the economy of words. This is about valuing your own energy too highly to spend it on convincing people of your right to choose. Every unnecessary word of explanation is a withdrawal from your account of personal power. Let's get one thing straight right now. Your mouth is your biggest liability. That compulsive need to answer, to explain, to defend, to get the last word in. That's not strength. It's a leak. It's you bleeding power, frame control, and respect all over the floor for everyone to see. Every time you're provoked and you instantly fire back, you've lost. You've handed over the remote control to your emotional state to someone else. You've shown them exactly what button to push to make you dance. Emotional reactivity is a trap. It's a beautifully designed, perfectly baited trap that you walk into every single day. A critic throws a hook, and you, like a conditioned puppet, swing back. Your partner says something with a little edge, and you're immediately on the defensive. Your boss questions a decision, and you launch into a 5-minute justification. Stop it. Just stop. That reactive impulse is the sound of your own cage rattling. And the person holding the stick? They know it. They feel it. Your silence is the barrier. Your silence is the reinforced steel between the external trigger and your controlled, chosen response. That's your armor. Think about the last time someone got under your skin. What happened? Your heart rate spiked. Your face got hot. Words started forming in your mouth before your brain had even processed what was really happening. That's the animal brain taking over. That's you, operating from a place of pure, unfiltered weakness. In that moment, you are not a strategist. You are a reaction, a stimulus response machine. And predictable machines are easily controlled. You have a choice. You always have a choice. The choice isn't between clamming up and exploding. That's a false binary, a lie the reactive mind tells you. The real choice is between being a puppet and being a commander. Your silence is the space where that command is established. So how do you build this armor? How do you forge this space between the provocation and your power? You implement a non-negotiable rule. It's simple to understand, but it will feel brutally difficult to execute. That's the point. This is where discipline replaces impulse. I call it the 3-second rule of response. Here's the instruction, and it's absolute. In any conversation that carries emotional weight, a challenge, a criticism, a negotiation, a conflict, you enforce a mandatory 3 seconds of complete silence before you allow yourself to speak. 3 seconds. It sounds like nothing, but in the heat of the moment, it will feel like an eternity. Your instinct will scream at you to fill that void, to justify the pause, to explain yourself. Your body will physically rebel against it. Ignore it. In that 3-second gap, everything changes. That gap is where your power resides. Let me say that again because this is the key. Between the stimulus, the thing they said, and your response, the thing you say back, there is a space. In that space, you will find your power, your choice, your control. That space is your silence. During those 3 seconds, you are not passive. This is not about shutting down. This is the most active and strategic thing you can do. You are doing 3 things, and only 3 things. 1, you are breathing. A deep, deliberate breath into your diaphragm. This is biological warfare against your own adrenaline. It forces calm on your nervous system. 2, you are processing the intent behind the words, not just the words themselves. Is this a genuine concern? A power play? A test? You're assessing the battlefield, not just reacting to a single shot. 3, you are choosing your outcome. What is the single most effective thing I can say to steer this toward my desired result? Not what is the wittiest comeback. Not what is the most defensive excuse. What is the most powerful, frame-holding move? This 3-second rule transforms you from a reactor to an initiator. You stop being a pinball, bouncing off every bumper and flipper, and you start being the player. And here's the beautiful, counterintuitive result of this discipline. It projects unshakable calm. When you can receive pressure, a direct insult, a tough question, an emotional outburst from someone else, and your only response is a silent, confident pause. You communicate volumes without uttering a single word. You communicate that you are unmoved, that you are so secure in your own frame that their attempt to disrupt it is almost amusing, that their words require consideration, not a knee-jerk reaction. This silence is deafening. It makes others lean in. It forces them to confront the stability of your presence against the chaos of their own emotion. Their reactivity highlights your control. The loudest person in the room is often the weakest. They are making noise to compensate for a lack of substance, a lack of certainty. The most dangerous person, the one in true command, is often the most silent. They don't need to prove their point with volume. Their calm does the talking for them. Your silence is not weakness. Your silence is not agreement. Your silence is not confusion. Your silence is your armor. It shields you from pointless conflicts. It protects your energy. It conceals your strategy. It projects an aura of authority that words can never achieve. You don't need their permission to be silent. You don't owe anyone an immediate response. That's a trap of social conditioning. Take your 3 seconds. Build your space. Reclaim your power. It's not about having nothing to say. It's about having the discipline to say only what serves your purpose. That's the key. You've now fortified your mind and learned to wield silence as a weapon. But armor and weapons are useless without the strength to carry them. That strength comes from a body that is not a burden, but a precision tool. Let's build it. You're stuck. You're facing a problem, a business decision, a relationship crossroads, a financial puzzle, and your brain is screaming for an answer. Right now, today, this instant. So what do? You scramble. You Google. You call friends asking for advice you won't take. You lie awake at night, mentally running through every possible scenario, demanding that your mind cough up the solution. You treat your brain like a cheap search engine, and when it doesn't spit out a perfect, ready-made answer, you panic. You think this anxiety is because the problem is hard. You're wrong. The anxiety isn't from the problem. It's from your pathetic, frantic need for certainty. It's from the childish demand that life give you a multiple-choice test with one clear, correct answer. That desperation, that weakness is what's killing you. Let's break that habit right now. The world doesn't reward people who have all the answers. The world is conquered by those who possess the most powerful questions. Your mission, starting this second, is to stop chasing answers and start cultivating questions. Let's talk about the tyranny of certainty. This is the prison you've built for yourself. You believe that not knowing is a sign of weakness, so you force it. You grab the first semi-plausible idea that comes to mind and you call it a decision. You choose a path not because it's right, but because the ambiguity of standing at the crossroads was too painful to bear. That's the key. You'd rather be decisively wrong than patiently powerful. You trade the long, strategic game for the short-term relief of feeling like you've made a decision. And then you wonder why you keep getting mediocre results. Why your business plateaus. Why your relationships are shallow. You're solving complex, nuanced problems with cheap, off-the-shelf answers. It's intellectual laziness. It's a lack of discipline. The discipline you need now is the discipline to hold a question without demanding an answer from it. You don't need its permission to be calm. You don't need its permission to be strong. You have a choice. You can choose to let the question live inside you, to let it breathe, to let it mature. This is the power of the unanswered. Look at history. Look at the true innovators. Charles Darwin spent decades gathering evidence, holding the monumental question, how do species originate and change? He didn't wake up one morning with the full theory of evolution. He held the question. He let it guide his observations for 20 years. The question was his compass. The answer was the destination he grew into. In business, the most transformative leaders aren't the ones barking orders. They're the ones who reframe the entire challenge with a single, piercing question. Steve Jobs didn't ask, how do we make a better phone? He asked, how can we reinvent the phone? And more profoundly, how can we put a dent in the universe? Those questions are engines. They generate energy, focus, and ultimately, genius-level answers. A weak question gets a weak answer. A powerful question forces a powerful reality into existence, you see? It's not about intelligence, it's about discipline. The discipline to resist the cheap fix. The discipline to tolerate the discomfort of not knowing. This means you must reframe your entire internal dialogue. Right now, your self-talk is pathetic. It's a desperate whining. What's the answer? What's the answer? I need to know the answer. You are begging the universe for a cheat sheet. That stops today. From this moment forward, you will shift that dialogue. When you face a problem, you will pause. You will silence the panic. And you will ask with calm authority, what is the most powerful question I can ask here? Not a simple question. Not an easy question. A powerful one. If your business is struggling, don't ask, how do I make more money? That's a weak, shallow question that leads to short-term, desperate tactics. Instead ask, what unique value am I failing to deliver to my ideal customer? Or what system in my business is the weakest, and how can I reinvent it? If you're feeling lost in your life, don't ask, what's my passion? That question paralyzes people. Instead ask, what problem in the world pains me so much that I would work for years to solve it? Or what would I attempt if I knew I was too strong to fail? Feel the difference? The first set of questions leads to dead ends. The second set of questions opens up worlds of possibility. They force you to grow. They demand a better version of you to even attempt an answer. This is your new mantra. Write it down. Burn it into your mind. A quality question creates a quality life. Say it out loud. A quality question creates a quality life. Your life is literally a reflection of the questions you habitually ask yourself. If you ask, "Why does this always happen to me?" you get a life of victimhood and excuses. If you ask, "How can I use this to make me stronger?" you get a life of resilience and power. You have a choice. You are the one asking the questions. So take responsibility for their quality. The frantic search for answers is a form of cowardice. It's you trying to flee from the productive struggle that forges real strength. Cultivating a question is an act of courage. It's you saying, "I can withstand the uncertainty. I trust my own process. I will allow the solution to emerge from depth and thought, not from fear and haste." You don't need the permission of an immediate answer to feel secure. Your security comes from your discipline. So from now on, when the pressure mounts and the old habit kicks in, I want you to stop, breathe, and take command. Your only job in that moment is to find the most powerful, the most penetrating, the most profound question you can possibly formulate. Then you hold it. You carry it with you. You let it work on you while you drive, while you shower, while you train. The answer will come, but it will come on your terms, when you have grown into the person capable of understanding it. A quality question creates a quality life. That's not a platitude. That's the law. You've just taken control of the most powerful tool you have, your focus. Now, let's talk about the force that protects that focus from the noise of the world. Let's get one thing straight right now. You are a terrible listener. I don't care how empathetic you think you are. I don't care if your friends call you a great listener. You're not. Not yet, because right now, for you, listening isn't about understanding. It's about waiting. It's a pause button you hit while the other person makes noise, a nervous gap you fill by frantically rehearsing your own lines in your head. You're like an actor backstage, muttering your next soliloquy while the other actor is on stage, completely missing their performance. And that makes you weak. It makes you insecure. And worst of all, it makes you stupid. You're sitting there in a negotiation, in a team meeting, on a date, and you're so desperate to be heard, so terrified of the silence, that you sacrifice the entire battlefield for the chance to fire one pathetic, pre-rehearsed shot. You're not collecting data. You're not reading the terrain. You're just waiting for your turn to talk, and everyone can sense it. They see the glazed-over look in your eyes. They see you leaning forward, physically poised to interrupt. You are broadcasting your own insecurity without ever saying a word. That ends today. You have a choice. You can continue to be the person who talks a lot and says very little, or you can become the person who says one sentence and controls the entire room. The choice is yours. Real listening, strategic listening, is not a passive, gentle, feel-good skill. It is an aggressive, dominant, and deeply powerful act. When you truly listen, you are not being quiet. You are hunting. You are gathering intelligence. You are collecting the ammunition you will use to dismantle their argument, build your influence, and command respect. Think about the last time you felt truly heard by someone. They weren't just waiting for their turn. They were with you. They absorbed your words. And when they finally spoke, their response was so precise, so insightful, it felt like they understood you better than you understood yourself. How much power did that person have in that moment? Total power, that's the key. That's the repetitive advantage you are handing to your competition every time you open your mouth too soon. The person who speaks the least in any important conversation holds all the cards. They are the calm in the storm, while everyone else is chirping, reacting, vomiting their unformed thoughts into the air. This person is silent. They are processing. They are connecting dots the talkers can't even see. They are learning your fears, your motivations, your weaknesses, and your desires. They are listening to dominate. So how do you do it? You don't just try to listen better. You execute a disciplined, three-part strategy. First, shift your mission. Your goal in any conversation is no longer to say something smart. Your goal is to extract. Walk into every room with a hunter's mindset. What information here is valuable? What can I learn about this person's true agenda? What are the key words they keep repeating? What emotion is driving them? You are a black box intelligence gatherer. You are not there to perform. You are there to collect. It's not about being interesting. It's about being interested. And that interest is a weapon. Second, master the physical language of listening. This is a physical discipline before it's a mental one. Stop fidgeting. Plant your feet. Lock your eyes on them. Not in a creepy, serial killer stare, but with a calm, unwavering focus. Nod slowly to show you're processing, not just to signal you agree. Keep your body still and open. When you physically commit to listening, your mind will follow. You are forcing your entire being into a state of reception. You are telling the other person, and more importantly, telling yourself, nothing is more important right now than the data coming out of this person's mouth. You have a choice. You can let your body betray your nervous energy, or you can use your body to project unshakable calm and focus. The choice is yours. Third, and this is the advanced move, listen for what isn't being said. The words are just the surface. The gold is underneath. Listen for the slight hesitation before a certain topic. Listen for the defensive tone that creeps in when they talk about their competitor. Listen for the vague language they use to describe their own plan. That's where the leverage is. That hesitation is a crack in their armor. That defensive tone is an admission of insecurity. Your job is to find these cracks, mentally flag them, and store them away. When you have collected enough ammunition, that's when you speak. Not before. Your response will now be different. It won't be your pre-rehearsed line. It will be a scalpel. You will say, "You mentioned X a moment ago, but you seemed hesitant. What's the real challenge there?" Or, "I've noticed you keep focusing on Y. Help me understand why that's your priority." See the difference? You are no longer having your conversation. You are steering theirs. You are using their own words, their own energy, to guide them to a conclusion that you have already seen coming from a mile away. That's dominance. That's power. You don't need their permission to be the most powerful person in the room. You just need the discipline to shut up and listen. The repetitive advantage is always with the listener. The talker reveals his hand. The listener holds his cards close. The talker spends his energy. The listener conserves his. The talker is predictable. The listener is an enigma. Stop trying to win the conversation by talking more. Win it by understanding more. Dominate the room not with your voice, but with your silence. Collect the data. Find the cracks. And when you finally strike, make it count. You've learned to weaponize your attention. Now let's talk about the one force that can shatter it all. Let's be brutally honest for a second. How many times today have you reached for your phone without thinking? Standing in line? Waiting for a coffee? Sitting on the toilet? The second there's a lull, a moment of silence, your hand moves on its own. It's a reflex, a twitch. You're not checking for anything important. You're scrolling, mindlessly, dragging your thumb down a bottomless feed of other people's lives, hot takes, and cat videos. You're mainlining digital noise, and you're doing it for one simple, uncomfortable reason. You are afraid of being bored. You are terrified of 30 seconds of uninterrupted silence with your own thoughts. Because in that silence, things come up. That project you've been avoiding. That difficult conversation you need to have. The reality of your bank account. The nagging feeling that you're not where you thought you'd be. The scroll is a shield. It's a pacifier. It's a chemical escape from the mild discomfort of your own mind. Let's call it what it is. Digital noise is a drug. A socially acceptable, highly engineered addiction. It's designed to give you a tiny hit of dopamine, a little buzz that numbs you out and protects you from the one thing that can actually make you stronger. The pain of boredom. That's the key. You're using stimulation as a crutch. You're outsourcing your inner world to a 5-inch screen. And in the process, you are bankrupting your ability to think deeply, to create, and to be comfortable in your own skin. You have a choice. You can continue to be a passive consumer of other people's content, or you can become the creator of your own reality. That choice starts here. It starts by turning off the noise. Because here is the secret they don't want you to know. Boredom is the crucible of creativity. Genius is not born in a frenzy of notifications and multitasking. It's born in the void. It's forged in the empty, quiet space where your mind, stripped of external input, is forced to create its own entertainment. To problem solve, to connect its own dots. Think about the last time you had a breakthrough idea. I'll bet it wasn't when you were hammering away at your keyboard, frantically answering emails. It was probably in the shower, or on a long drive, or during a walk without your headphones. In a moment of forced boredom, your subconscious mind got to work. It sifted through the data, found a new pattern, and presented you with the solution on a silver platter. Boredom is not the enemy. It is the blank canvas, the silent partner, the empty page. It is the necessary condition for your mind to do its most profound work. When you fill every single second with a podcast, a song, a video, you are robbing yourself. You are denying your brain the space it needs to synthesize, to imagine, to breathe. You're starving your own genius because you're afraid of a little mental silence. You have a choice. You can live in the shallow end, constantly stimulated and perpetually empty. Or you can dive into the deep, quiet waters of your own mind and discover the treasures that are hidden there. So how do you reclaim this? How do you stop running and start building? It's not about finding more time. It's about stealing back the time you're currently wasting. It's about discipline. The discipline of silence. This isn't a suggestion. This is a prescription. I am commanding you to schedule 15 minutes of absolute, unstimulated silence into your day, every single day, 15 minutes. That's it. No phone, no music, no podcast, no television, no book, no input whatsoever. You will sit in a chair, or you will go for a walk without your devices. And you will do nothing but be alone with your own mind, and I can promise you one thing. It will be uncomfortable. For the first few days, it will feel like agony. Your brain will scream for a hit. It will throw a temper tantrum. It will drag up every anxiety, every worry, every stupid thing you said 10 years ago. It will tell you this is a waste of time. It will beg you to check your phone. Your instruction is simple. Sit in the discomfort. Do not move. Do not give in. Let the anxiety come. Let the boredom wash over you. Observe it. Feel it. Don't fight it. Just sit with it. Why? Because you are building a muscle. You are building your focus muscle. You are teaching your brain that it does not need an external chemical fix to be okay. You are proving to yourself that you can handle your own thoughts, that you are the master of your own mind. This is the foundation of all discipline. It's not about motivation. It's about the ability to endure temporary discomfort for a long-term gain. This is the training. This is the reps. When you can sit with the minor pain of boredom for 15 minutes, you are building the resilience to handle the bigger pains. The pain of rejection when you make that sales call. The pain of effort when you push for one more rep in the gym. The pain of sacrifice when you choose your long-term goal over a short-term pleasure. You are learning the most fundamental lesson of power, that you are enough, all by yourself with no external validation or stimulation. You don't need their permission to be at peace. You don't need a screen to be whole. The strength you are looking for is found not in the noise, but in the silence you've been running from. Embrace the pain of boredom. It is not your enemy. It is your most powerful ally. It is the empty space where your future self is waiting to be built. You've made the choice to confront the silence within. Now you must learn to master the noise without. It's time to take control of your most precious resource. You're excited. You have a new goal. It's big. It's the one. And what's the first thing you want to do? You want to tell someone, your partner, your friends, post it online for a little hit of validation. Stop. Right there. You just made your first and potentially most fatal mistake. You traded the fuel of achievement for a cheap compliment. You outsourced your motivation before you even broke a sweat. And now, the drive you should have poured into the work has already started to leak out. In this chapter, we're putting a muzzle on the part of you that needs applause. We're killing the hype man living in your head. From this moment forward, you have a choice. You can be the person who talks about the great things they're going to do, or you can be the person whose results do all the talking for them. But you cannot be both. Let's make you the latter. Here's a hard truth your friends won't tell you. Announcing your plans gives you a premature sense of accomplishment. It's a neurological fact. When you declare a goal and people recognize it, your brain gets a little hit of dopamine. It feels the reward before the work is done. Why is that so dangerous? Because you've just satisfied the craving without earning it. You've taken the psychological tension, the creative friction that was supposed to propel you into action, and you've released it into a conversation, into a social media post. That tension is your fuel, and you just spilled it all over the ground. Your goals are sacred. They are yours and yours alone. They are not content. They are not conversation starters. They are not for validation. You don't need their permission. You don't need their pat on the back. In fact, their praise is a trap. It makes you feel like you're already on your way, when you haven't even taken the first step. I want you to think of a goal you recently shared. Feel that little glow? That sense that people now see you as that kind of person. That's the feeling you were supposed to be chasing through hard work. You got the reward without the struggle. And now the struggle feels heavier, less rewarding, because you already got the cookie. This is non-negotiable. From now on, you operate under a new rule. Your goals are nobody's business until they are results. Not your mom's business. Not your best friend's business. Certainly not your follower's business. Silence is your shield. It protects your ambition from the draining energy of outside opinions and your own need for approval. That's the key. The energy you would have wasted on talking, you now redirect into doing. Every single time, so if you're not talking, what are you doing? You are entering the unseen grind. This is where legends are built, not in the spotlight, but in the dark. Think of a swan on a perfectly still lake. What do you see? Grace, ease, calm. It glides across the surface without a single ripple of effort. But underneath the water, hidden from view, its feet are paddling furiously. That's you. That is the image you must embody. The world only gets to see the glide, the calm confidence, the undeniable result. They do not get to see the frantic paddling, the late nights, the early mornings, the failed attempts, the sweat, the sacrifice, the silence. That part is yours. That part is sacred. Your silent, unseen work is what builds the result that will speak for itself with undeniable authority. When you are grinding in silence, several powerful things happen. First, you build unshakable self-reliance. Your validation comes from the work itself, from crossing a task off a list only you can see. Second, you eliminate the noise. No one can doubt you, discourage you, or give you misguided advice about a mission they know nothing about. And third, you create an element of shock. Let me tell you something about human nature. People are bored. They are used to people talking big and fizzling out. But when someone suddenly emerges with a transformed body, a successful business, a new master skill, and no one saw it coming, that has power. That commands respect on a level that no announcement ever could. Your results, when they finally appear, will be a statement. They won't need a backstory. They won't need an explanation. They will be a cold, hard fact in a world full of hot air. The work will speak, and it will say everything about you that needs to be said. So, we end this chapter with a single brutal question. This is your litmus test. This is how you know if you're on the right path. I want you to ask yourself, and I want you to be honest. Could my results, and my results alone, tell the entire story of my success? Look at your life right now. Look at your body, your bank account, your skills, your relationships. Do they tell a story of discipline and silent execution? Or do they need your excuses, your explanations, your "let me tell you what I'm about to do" to make sense? If your results can't tell the whole story, you are talking too much and doing too little. It's that simple. You have a choice. You can be the commentary track or you can be the main event. But you can't be both. Stop narrating the movie. Start living it. Let the final product be so stunning, so complete, that it requires no introduction, no disclaimer, no behind-the-scenes documentary. The result is the only thing that matters. The result is the only voice that carries true authority. You've mastered the discipline of silence. Now let's talk about the one asset you must protect above all else. Let's get one thing straight right now. You are bankrupting yourself. You are spending your life savings on trash and you're wondering why you're not rich. Not rich in time, not rich in energy, not rich in achievement. I'm not talking about money. I'm talking about something far more fundamental. Your attention is not just a resource. It is your life's currency. Think about that. Your life is a finite collection of moments, of seconds, of hours. Where you place your attention is where you place your life. Every time you mindlessly scroll, every time you dive into someone else's drama, every time you let a notification pull you out of a deep thought, you are spending a piece of your life. You are trading a coin of your existence for nothing, for noise, for someone else's agenda. You have a choice. You can continue to be a poor steward of your most valuable asset, or you can become a ruthless guardian of it. What you pay attention to, you become. If you pay attention to anger, you become anger. If you pay attention to gossip, you become petty. If you pay attention to your mission, you become powerful. That's the key. So let's break down the enemy. Let's perform an autopsy on the thief that's robbing you blind. This is the anatomy of a distraction. A distraction is not an accident. It is a designed, engineered, multi-billion-dollar weapon aimed directly at your prefrontal cortex. That notification ping? It's not a neutral piece of information. It's a slot machine lever triggering a dopamine hit, conditioning you to respond. It's a crack of the whip, and you, the trained animal, jump. The gossip in the break room? The drama on social media? It's a circus designed to hijack your focus and make you a passive spectator in someone else's show. You are giving your life's currency to the circus. You have a choice. You can be the puppet, or you can cut the strings. You don't need their permission to look away. You don't need to be in the loop on everything. The real loop, the only loop that matters, is the one you are building with your own two hands. What you pay attention to, you become. If you are constantly attending to the trivial, you become trivial. Your mind becomes a cluttered room, filled with other people's junk. There is no space for a great thought to form. There is no silence for a brilliant idea to whisper. You must become a ruthless guardian of your focus. This isn't about being rude. It's about being sovereign. It's about declaring that your mental space is a sacred ground, and you are the gatekeeper. So how do you start? You don't start with grand declarations. You start with a brutal, unflinching audit. You conduct an attention inventory. Here is your command. For one full day, you will track it, all of it. Carry a notepad, use your phone. I don't care what tool you use, but you will document every single thing that captures your attention. The moment you pick up your phone to check something, you write it down. The conversation you eavesdrop on, you write it down. The 30-minute rabbit hole of YouTube videos you fell into, you write it down. Do not judge it in the moment. Just observe and record. Be a scientist studying the most important subject in the world, your own wasted potential. At the end of that day, look at the list. This is your financial statement. This is how you spent your life's currency today. Is it an investment, or is it waste? Now the hard part, the elimination. You must become ruthless. You will see patterns. You will see the same apps, the same websites, the same people, the same habits, draining your focus, spending your currency. Your mission is to eliminate the non-essential. Delete the apps. Silence the notifications, literally, not tomorrow, now. Mute the group chats. Distance yourself from the chronic complainers and the drama magnets. You don't need their permission to protect your sanity. This is where discipline meets focus. This is where your silence becomes a weapon. When you stop giving your attention away, you starve the distractions. They wither, and in the quiet that remains, your own purpose can finally speak. It's not about having more time. It's about defending the time you have with a ferocity you never knew you possessed. What you pay attention to, you become. So what do you want to become? A vessel for notifications? A repository for gossip? Or a force of nature, focused, directed, and unstoppable? The answer lies in what you choose to focus on in this very moment. You have reclaimed your attention. You have taken back your currency. Now let's talk about what you build with it. Let's talk about the one thing that outlasts all the noise. Chapter 9. The Legacy of Discipline. Listen up. The world is noisy. It's a barrage of opinions, demands, criticisms, and chaos. It never stops. And if you don't have a place to go, a place that is entirely your own, you will get swept away. You will become a reaction, a puppet, whose strings are pulled by every random comment, every bad headline, every piece of unsolicited advice. You need a sanctuary. Not a physical one, but a mental one. You need to build your mind's fortress. This isn't a metaphor. This is a discipline. This is the architecture of your inner peace. Your mind's fortress is that private, internal space you construct, brick by mental brick, where the noise stops and you can finally hear yourself think. It's a place of absolute clarity, built not on luck, but on daily, relentless practice. It is your ultimate advantage. Because when you have a fortress, you are never truly under attack. You can observe the chaos from behind your walls, unfazed, unmoved, and in total control. That's the key. Control. It's not about ignoring the world. It's about choosing when and how you engage with it. You have a choice. You can let the world in, on your terms, or you can retreat to the perfect silence within. You don't need their permission to build this. You don't need anyone's approval. This is your sovereign territory. So, how do you build it? You start with the foundation. You start with what I call the inner sanctum. This is the deepest chamber of your fortress. This is the room where no one else is allowed. Not your boss, not your partner, not the ghost of your past disappointments. This is the space of pure, unadulterated silence. It's not empty. It's full of you, your core values, your unshakable mission, your truth. When you are in your inner sanctum, the external world loses its power. An insult is just sound. A setback is just data. A criticism is just an opinion you can evaluate without emotion. This sanctum is your anchor. It's the eye of your hurricane, and accessing it is the most important skill you will ever master. But a fortress isn't built by thinking about it. It's built through daily drills for mental strength. This is the repetitive, boring, unglamorous work that makes the walls unbreachable. Your first drill, morning silence. The first hour of your day does not belong to the world. It belongs to the fortress. No phone, no news, no email, no noise. This is non-negotiable. Use this time for silence, for meditation, for staring at a wall and letting your own mind wake up. You are fortifying your walls before the day's siege even begins. This is your training. This is the repetition that builds resilience. Your second drill, the refusal to engage in gossip. Gossip is the Trojan horse of your mental fortress. It seems harmless, a little chatter, a bit of bonding. But it's poison. It trains your mind to focus on others, to judge, to live in the petty dramas that have nothing to do with your mission. When someone tries to pull you into gossip, your response is simple. You don't engage. You change the subject. You walk away. You protect your mental space with a vicious level of discipline. It's not about being rude, it's about defending your peace. Your third drill, the 3-second response rule. This is a game changer. When you are provoked, criticized, or asked a loaded question, you do not respond immediately. You institute a mandatory internal 3-second pause. In that silence, you retreat to your fortress. You ask yourself, does this require a response? What is the strategic, not emotional reply? This single habit will prevent 99% of the stupid arguments and emotional decisions that derail people. It moves you from reaction to command. You have a choice, always. The 3-second rule enforces that choice. This is the work. This is the discipline. And when you do this work, day in and day out, something incredible happens. You forge your unbreachable confidence. Let me be clear about confidence. It is not something you get from a compliment. It's not something you find in a success. External confidence is a house built on sand. The next wave of criticism, the next failure, washes it all away. True, unbreachable confidence comes from one place and one place only. The absolute knowledge that you have a sanctuary. That no matter what happens out there, you lose your job, someone betrays you, a project fails, you have a place to go where you are still whole, still capable, still you. This knowledge makes you impervious. Minor criticisms bounce off. Setbacks become logistical problems, not existential crises. You stop seeking validation because you are your own validation. You are standing firm in your fortress, watching the storms rage, knowing they cannot touch you. That's the key. This confidence is earned. It's built through the silent, solitary discipline of reinforcing your walls every single day. You don't need their permission to feel this way. You just need the discipline to build it. This is your birthright. A mind of your own. A peace that cannot be disturbed. A confidence that cannot be shaken. It's waiting for you. But you have to build it. Brick by brick. Silence by silence. Choice by choice, you have mastered the internal world. You have built an unbreachable fortress of the mind. Now it's time to turn that inner strength into outer power. It's time to command the room without saying a word. Silence is not your enemy. The noise in your head is. For 9 chapters, we've torn down the weak structures you've built your life on. The need for approval, the addiction to comfort, the slavery to your own chaotic emotions. We've armed you with the tools to take it all back. Your focus, your body, your time, your mind. Now, we arrive at the final synthesis. The ultimate expression of that internal mastery. It's not a new technique. It's the culmination of everything you've learned, made manifest in the world through a single, profound discipline. You will speak only from stillness. Let me be perfectly clear. This is not about becoming mute. This is not a vow of silence. That would be easy. This is far harder and infinitely more powerful. This is about ensuring that every single word you allow to pass your lips, in a negotiation, in an argument, in a moment of passion, in a casual comment, originates from a place of inner quiet and deliberate choice. not from a place of reaction, not from a place of fear, not from the swirling, chaotic storm of your own mind. You have a choice. You always have a choice. To let the storm speak, or to wait for the storm to pass and speak from the calm that follows. Think about the last time you really put your foot in your mouth. The last time you sent a text you immediately regretted. The last time you snapped at someone you love, or caved in a meeting, or tried to sound smart and just sounded like a fool. Where did those words come from? Be honest. They didn't come from a place of power. They came from a place of panic, from insecurity, from a need to fill the silence because the silence felt like losing. That's the reactive mind. That's the undisciplined mind. And it's costing you everything. Contrast that with a moment you remember with pride. A time you delivered a difficult truth with compassion and strength. A time you delivered a single perfect sentence in a room that fell silent to hear it. A time you comforted someone with just a few words, and they landed with the weight of 1,000. Where did those words come from? They came from a center, from a place of quiet certainty. They were chosen, not triggered. That's the key. The weight of the chosen word, a torrent of words spoken from a chaotic mind, is just noise. It's verbal static. It's the sound of someone trying to convince themselves. It has no anchor. It's forgettable. It's weak, but a few words. Just a handful. Spoken from a quiet mind? They carry immense gravitational weight. They land differently. They are remembered. They are believed. Because they are not just words. They are declarations. They are the physical manifestation of a calm, unshakable inner world. This is the embodiment of power. It's the final piece. You've mastered your morning. You've mastered your body. You've mastered your focus. You've mastered your fear. But if you cannot master your own tongue, it was all for nothing. Because the tongue is the release valve for all that internal pressure. It's the leak. All that discipline you've built up inside can be vaporized in a single reactive sentence. So how do you do it? How do you speak only from stillness? First, you master the pause. This is not a suggestion. It is a drill. A non-negotiable protocol. Before you speak, you pause. It doesn't have to be a dramatic, awkward 10-second stare. It can be a single breath. A moment to feel your feet on the floor. A moment to check in with the internal weather. Is what I'm about to say coming from a place of calm certainty? Or is it coming from a place of fear? Of anger? Of a need to be liked? If it's the latter, you shut your mouth. You do not get their permission to speak. You do not need to fill the space. Your power lies in your ability to hold that space. Let the other person squirm in the silence. That is their lack of discipline, not yours. Second, you interrogate your intention. Why are you speaking? Is it to contribute? Is it to clarify? Is it to lead? Or is it to relieve your own anxiety? Is it to win? Is it to look smart? Is it to defend a fragile ego? You have a choice. You can speak to serve the situation, or you can speak to serve your own weakness. One builds authority. The other bleeds it away, drop by drop. Every time you speak to serve your weakness, you are telling the world and yourself that you are not in control, that your insecurities are piloting the ship. It's not about having the right thing to say. It's about having the discipline to say only the right thing from the right place. This is the synthesis. Your disciplined morning creates the energy for the day. Your disciplined body houses a confident mind. Your disciplined focus cuts through the noise. Your disciplined emotions prevent you from being hijacked, and all of it converges on this moment, the moment before you speak. When you default to silence, you are not being quiet. You are being powerful. You are in observation mode. You are gathering data. You are assessing the battlefield. You are allowing your calm, disciplined mind to process, to calculate, to choose the optimal course of action. And then, when you do speak, it is a conscious, powerful event. It is not a reaction. It is a declaration. You have moved from being a puppet, jerked around by external stimuli and internal chaos, to being the puppeteer. You pull the strings, you decide. This is the ultimate state of mastery. It's not about controlling the world around you. You don't need their permission. It's about achieving such absolute control over your inner world that your very presence commands respect. Your words, when they come, are respected because they are rare. They are precise. They are true. You are no longer explaining. You are no longer defending. You are no longer seeking. You are declaring what is. That is the voice of a master. That is the voice that comes only from a still, disciplined mind. You have mastered the storm within. The words you speak are not the storm. They are the lighthouse, a steady, unwavering beam in the chaos, guiding not with frantic noise, but with silent, powerful certainty. You have found your voice by first mastering the silence. Now let's talk about what you've truly built. The unshakable core. The final chapter. The sovereign self. Closing script. 1 minute. Pace should be forceful, building in intensity like a coach delivering a final, unforgettable rallying cry. Let's be clear. The world is loud because it is scared of the quiet. It is scared of what you might hear when you finally stop listening to it and start listening to yourself. You have now been given the blueprint. The discipline of silence is not a suggestion. It is a mandate for anyone who wishes to lead, to create, to have impact. It is the difference between being reactive and being declarative. Stop explaining. Start doing. Stop seeking validation. Start building unshakable self-validation. Stop leaking your power through unnecessary words. Start fortifying your mind's fortress. Let your results be your only voice. Let your calm be your greatest weapon. Speak only from stillness and watch as the world leans in to listen. The theory is over. The practice begins now. Your challenge is this. For the next 72 hours, you will not explain a single decision. You will not react emotionally to a single provocation. You will take your 15 minutes of scheduled boredom. You will enforce the 3-second rule. For 72 hours, you will live the discipline of silence. You will feel the discomfort. You will feel the urge to break. Do not break. On the other side of that discomfort is a version of you that is calmer, sharper, and in absolute control. The choice is yours. Get to work.